And in Japan, organisers for the delayed Tokyo Olympics have laid out their plan to ensure the Games, which are scheduled to start in July, are safe. The International Olympic and Paralympic committees and their Japanese hosts have been developing coronavirus countermeasures. On Tuesday, Japan's Prime Minister extended a state of emergency for 10 regions to try to stop the spread of COVID-19.
This postponement, colleagues at the IOC, IPC and Tokyo 2020, in consultation with experts, have been working night and day, 24/7, to develop a robust plan and toolkit that aims to protect every Games stakeholder and, importantly, the Japanese people. Over the last 12 months, every single aspect of the Games has been meticulously evaluated in terms of COVID-19. Consequently, we believe we can stage the Games safely and give the world something to look forward to this summer.
So we're going to have a quick look at some of the safety measures which Olympic organisers have laid out in what they are calling a playbook for athletes. It's really interesting. Singing and chanting won't be allowed in order to protect the athletes, but clapping is permitted. Participants must submit their itinerary to Japanese authorities. They must present a negative COVID-19 test. They have to download the government's tracing app as well. Athletes also won't be able to use public transport without permission, and repeated failure to comply with the playbook rules may see athletes expelled from the Games. With us now from Bath in the UK, Dr. Bharat Pankhania, who is a specialist in emergency preparedness and planning, also a senior clinical lecturer at the University of Exeter Medical School. Doctor, thank you for your time. I think there's a whole question about, whether it's even worth going ahead with Games that will be so compromised like this. But from your expert opinion on controlling an event like this, what do you actually make of the measures that are being laid out?
There are weaknesses along the entire chain of setting up the Games. I know we will hear positive noises from the International Olympic Committee, and I love the International Olympics, I really do. But having said that, I think it is a high-risk event because on the one hand, we put in the regulations, but when you have got hundreds of thousands of people who've come into your country from all over the world, it is very, very difficult to control, monitor, and do the surveillance and keep everything under control. It will be amazing if they can pull it off.
So from a medical perspective, do you think, well, put it this way, the number one aim is to stop the spread of COVID-19 and stop people getting infected. Are there measures in place that can do that by not singing and chanting, for example?
Well, these are what we would call theoretical known stops that you can prevent some of the infections from spreading. But we will never, ever be able to say, and therefore we have 100% control measures in place which will work. There are so many weaknesses along the chain. So I look at it as if it was a conveyor belt of weaknesses, and at every point, public transport, the testing, the compliance, the crowding, the coming into the stadium, leaving the stadium, etc. At every critical point, there are weaknesses. And on a large-scale event like this, in the middle of a pandemic, it's very difficult to control.
And yet there is this determined nature to go ahead with the Olympics. I mean, as you say, you enjoy the Olympics. I think we'd all enjoy the distraction of 2 weeks of really great sport to watch. But it's hard to see the point in going ahead with it.
I totally agree with you, and I felt bad even saying that I wish the Olympics 2020 to be postponed because I love them so much. But in terms of global health, wealth and safety, I think this is a high-risk event, and it would be more pragmatic to say, let us see what global health is doing now that the vaccines have started to roll, and take a feed about how well the vaccines are performing, and then consider the Games a year after. But that's my opinion.
And we value your opinion. Dr. Bharat Pankhania joining us from Bath today. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.